I just wanted you guys to be able to see my dress. You guys want to talk about Moon Knight? You guys like this? I had this made for me, shoot, I don't know, a few years ago. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds, and we're going to talk about episodes 1 through 3, and then I'm going to do 1 for 4. I'm sorry I've been slacking. My job not only is killing me, but they just suspended me for tardies, but, you know. It's been a rough week. How many times I've given a black eye with this thing at the club? So many. You know, when you lean in at the club to hear somebody, well, you forget you have this on and you bash someone in the face. And I call it I go, you got beaked. Get beaked. I don't know if you guys want to call this a review. I don't know what you want to call this, but this is kind of just me chit-chatting about it. Obviously, I love, well, not just, the Egyptian gods are my favorite in mythology. They're definitely up there, that's for sure, just because they're different and they're so complex, and a lot are like Norse mythology, which I really love too. That might be my favorite, but they're complex. Well, they all are, I guess, and I find them fascinating, and I love the way they're using it in Moon Knight. That it's almost like American Gods, but different. When I started watching this, I didn't know anything about this character. I really loved the dynamic of I couldn't tell it was like Memento, and he was putting the violence in this is. Whoa, okay, I'm happy that you're doing it, Disney, but this is wild. Even like the glass in the shoes and stuff like that, and chaining himself to the bed, like that was some crazy stuff. And then even when the police come in that first episode and they're like, yeah, or is that the second episode, whatever, and they're like, and it's like, no, it probably looks like you have people tied up there. You probably look like a real psychopath. And I like this. Oscar Isaacs is really killing it. Like, not only is he playing Stephen Grant, and I love Stephen Grant, and at first I thought that was the museum that Kit Harington was working at in Eternals, but it's not, and I definitely think there's going to be a run in there, so Black Knight and Moon Knight are probably going to run into each other, in my opinion, or I'm guessing, my prediction. I'm saying that why you have two people working at museums, both in London, why wouldn't they run into each other? Then he has to play Mark Spector, and I liked the way they were showing that, and somebody at work pointed this out to me, and I didn't realize it at first, was like him eating meat, but being a vegan, like he's definitely fighting these two people inside of him, and I don't know, is it an alternate personality, or is this an actual other person? That's what I wanted to know in the first episode. That's what was throwing me off. But then when they explained the Avatar thing, it made a lot more sense, and then Mom, who I made watch Avatar The Last Airbender last year, she was like, oh, I get this now, and I was like, yes. And I did like that nod to that. That was pretty funny in the first episode. So so not only is he playing Mark Spector, Stephen Grant, but then now after episode 3, he has to also play Khonshu at points, and that's hard. Like, that's hard to do, and he's killing it. I'm sure it's really hard to go back and forth from doing an accent and then not doing an accent. And even in his physicality, like, of course they're different characters. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, one's a crazy mercenary and one is a nerdy science or archaeologist, I don't know, historian man. Mom watched episode 1 before me, and then I was going to watch it a couple weeks ago, and she goes, it's kind of like Venom, so I like it, but Venom's funnier. Mom really loves Venom. I do think the first episode did a good job of setting up I don't even know what, because this is a very confusing thing to keep track of if you're a casual watcher of Marvel stuff. I do think this is the most exciting series we've gotten. This has been like the funnest, most exciting series out of them all so far, I think. And Loki that's pretty hard to, it's between those two for me, and I love them all, but this one's really coming at us hard. Khonshu is not, like, nice, just so you guys know. We'll get to that. We'll talk about all the gods in a minute. We end up finding out that he is the Moon Knight, and he gets the powers that Khonshu has. And this other guy, Harrow, is working for a goddess called Amet. Now, when they dropped Amet, I was like, oh shit. Because Amet is a very creepy, scary deity. There are 2 major deities in Egyptian mythology, and one is, you'll see this one a lot more, which is the human body with the crocodile head. Now, the crocodile is a huge symbolism of death in Egypt, not only because of the Nile. So it's like, I'm sure that's something that snatched up a lot of people, so it's used a lot in their imagery. But that one with the human body, I think, is a fertility, but that's not the one that they're talking about. They're talking about the one with the lion body. Now, I'm pretty sure it has a lion body and a hippo tail and a crocodile head, because those are the 3 top things that will kill you in Egypt, and that's why they used those animals to depict this goddess Amet. Now, Amet is not like Hades. Like, their version of Hades is Anubis, and that's the guardian of the underworld, and when you die, you get your heart literally weighed. Like, imagine your heart like Kingdom Hearts, like it's a tangible thing, it's a soul thing. Like, you have to give Anubis your heart to weigh on the scales. That's why they all have the scale tattoo, because that's a big thing in death with Egyptian mythology. But Amet sneakily lives close to the gateway, and if you run into her on your way to the underworld to see Anubis, they call her the devourer of the dead, or soul eater. She snatches up your soul and eats it before you can get there. So it's a really bad thing, and she's bad. But I was like, wow, you guys are really going hard on this. Now, these aren't gods like Thor. These are actual like deities, and I'm assuming it's going to be like American Gods, where the more people that believe, the more powerful they are. Where are my American God fans at? That was a jammy. I don't know why I stopped watching it. I read the book, though. The whole first episode is about the scarab, and he's keeping it away from Arrow, and that's the main thing. And we learned the Avatar thing. We learned that, but the fight scenes and, like I said, the violence in this is wild. So this isn't really a review. It's more of just like a recap and what I really liked about him. This is a really beautifully done show too. This is really pretty. And I do like how they're the use of mirrors and talking through those. Oh, and we find his storage locker, but I really liked the use of that, and how that I'm not saying it's confusing, like, I'm saying there are still little pieces that I know they're leaving out on purpose, but if you didn't, I feel like a little kid would find this hard to follow, but like a young adult, yeah, you're fine, you know what I mean? But even like with my mom or whatever, like showing the talking to each other in the mirrors was a really great way to show, no, these are two separate people, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, are they alternate personalities, or are they two totally separate people? But either way, they're showing a very good job that both of them have their own convictions and their own moral compass. I also think, let's just fast forward to episode 2. I think that this show has had the coolest transitions into a superhero ever. Like, even in episode 1, that was sick, and that was really cool. But in episode 2, there's a couple really good ones when he's falling and then turns into the actual like suit, and that's when it's Steven in the Moon Knight gear. When it's Mark in the Moon Knight gear, it's the traditional armor. Transition in the bathroom, and then him being normal and then remembering things, that was wild. But that transition of him falling and then turning into Moon Knight, that was sick. I do like Layla. She's fun. I like her, and I like that she was kind of macking on Steve, and Steve was kind of macking on her. That was kind of cool, and I didn't expect that in episode 3. But anyway, I really like her character. She's fun and a badass, and I really like that they are genuinely love interests off rip. Like, we don't need to. I'm sure we're gonna get their backstory more. You know what I'm saying? But I like that we just know, like, they're together. Because I know that I praise Marvel on not forcing romance down our throats, but then sometimes it's like, yeah, that happens. So I'm glad to be getting more of that. And they have great chemistry. The actors, they have great chemistry on screen together. I really like watching them together. They're funny. They're fun. I like it. But I do like how this spirit world is like a real thing, and it's this is how I explained it to my mom, because she's like, I don't quite get it, because they showed regular people not able to see what Moon Knight was fighting. So in episode 2, we get a lot of back and forth between Steven and Arrow with Ethan Hawke, and they go to his weird culty compound where that's what all cults look like, and they're totally wrong. And we find out when he says murdering babies, I'm kind of against that. Like, that was genuinely funny, but I loved how he played it, and they're having their conversation back and forth, because that's what they're saying about Amet. They were like, if there's even any thought you had that was bad, you're out. Everybody would die. You don't get judged fairly by Amet. You get your soul devoured. And like, that's why his staff has an alligator on it, because she is represented by the alligator, and other animals. But yeah, I really liked that a lot. I liked how they showed how he's like, I really don't give a shit. So we're still looking for the scarab. He gets to see their weird utopian compound of strangeness and cultness, and it's weird, and they all have the tattoos, kind of like Death Eaters. Death in Egyptian mythology has a lot to do with the scales and judging and stuff like that. So I like how they all have the tattoo, and that's how you know they're in his little crew. The show is genuinely funny. I audibly laughed out loud when Kanju is in the background and says, break his windpipe, and I burst out laughing. Find out they want the scarab so that they can find Amet's tomb, because if you find their bones, you can raise them from the dead, and they don't need an avatar. So that's what they're trying to do. We end up finding out, and we have him turning into Moon Knight in that awesome transition, getting into a huge fight, and this is what I mean about the spirit world, and this is what I was talking to my mom about. I was like, imagine if Father Merrin in The Exorcist could just beat up demons instead of may the power of Christ compel you, and just we couldn't see them. And she's like, oh, that makes sense. I was like, yeah, they're coming up from the underworld or wherever they're going to say to fight, but they can't, regular people can't see it. And I really like that. And how about when that one fell on that spike? I was like, oh my god, they're really going there. That was gruesome. That Anubis, the jackal, that's why they're using jackals to represent this. And I think they're calling them werewolves, though. Also find out that Kanju wants the girlfriend, Layla, or the wife, as his next avatar. And Mark don't want that. And I don't think Steven wants that. But I really like the end of that with the breaking of the mirror. Like I said, this is a beautifully shot show. It's fun. It's exciting. I really like it. Let's just move right into episode 3 and things I was excited about. Like I said, the violence. This is wild. It really cleared up a lot of the Avatar stuff. I loved meeting the new gods and having them all be different and from different parts of the world. That was really cool. That's a lot like American Gods also. The fight scenes in episode 3, though, were out of this world. I was shocked that we had gun shooting. I was shocked that we had as much death as we did. I love his little boomerang of the moon. That's awesome. Really sad that that actor passed away, because I'm assuming that's why they killed him off real quick, was because he passed away. Kanju summoning the eclipse was so cool. That was so cool. We find out that Kanju has a little thing with another one of the gods, and so her avatar is like kind of like what you don't know me to Mark, Kanju's avatar. And here's where I kind of feel a Black Panther connection, because Bast is a Egyptian deity, and well, Bastet is, and Bast is used in Black Panther. And speaking of cats, mine is being loud. The other part that I think is interesting about that is this Layla apparently has been snatching up artifacts, and so was this Antoine guy, and that's what Killmonger was doing in the beginning of Black Panther, and he was snatching up artifacts saying like, no, these are from Wakanda, asshole. And so it's like, I get where it's different, but snatching things up out of tombs really ain't a good thing. Like, you're when Kanju says a portal will appear, I immediately thought of the Bifrost. They go inside the pyramid. That is, it's just all cool. It was just the visuals are cool. The fighting is cool. It's so fast. It's awesome. I really like this a lot. I really like the show a lot. But you find out that there's levels to the gods, where like some are stronger than others, some are you have more power than others, and 1 or 2 are at the tippy top. And I think their leader still isn't there, because there's a big one they didn't name. And this is where Oscar Isaacs really kills it. Like, he's going back and forth between 3 different characters, and that's really hard. Their boat ride together on their little date, and Madripoor gets dropped. Where was Madripoor brought up at? That is a X-Men reference, but it was brought up in Falcon and Winter Soldier. But does this mean that is this an Apocalypse nod? Are we going to get Apocalypse in this from X-Men? Now, Kanju warns them that if the gods get mad enough, they can trap him in stone in a statue, and he ends up deciding, yeah, no, I'm gonna. When they did the turning of space and time, that was so cool. That was such a cool visual. And when he does that, he says they're gonna get mad at me for this. They're gonna turn me into stone. Tell Mark to bring me back. Tell Mark to bring me back. The gods end up trapping Kanju. So, yeah, I don't know. This is like I said. There's a lot of moving components going on here, but I really like it a lot, and I stand by what I said. I think this has been the funnest, most. I don't know. It's fast paced. It's the choreography is awesome. The way they use slow motion and then not slow. It's perfectly done. The editing is great. The acting is great. Everything about Moon Knight is great. If you don't even like Marvel stuff and you have Disney Plus, maybe just watch Moon Knight, because it kind of reminds me of Daredevil. The gods do talk about how they trap other gods away, though. And like I said, I know these gods are different from the Thor version of gods, but I think it's very, well, this is true. Like in Norse mythology, there are 9 realms, like Odin says, and like Thor explains in Thor. But in the Egyptian pantheon, there's 9 big gods. My cat is crying in the corner. Please stop. I'll let you out in 10 seconds, okay? But what I was thinking when they said that, even though I know they're different, are we going to figure out a way to get HELA back around? Because from, like, Thor's sister HELA, because she gets trapped away by Odin. And if there's a way to get out of that, or a way to do that again, they might have to do that to HELA if she runs into Thor and them again to fight. So maybe there will be a little nod to Thor Love and Thunder, but I do think that Kit Harington's going to show up, for sure. I do think Kit Harington's going to show up. I'm not going to lie, I haven't watched episode 4 yet, so maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe he's already there. Maybe people think I'm lying. I don't know, but I haven't watched episode 4 yet, and I'm about to watch it right now, and then, yeah, while I edit this. So, yeah, no, I'm just really enjoying Moon Knight. Let me know your theories. Let me know all your stuff, and I'll do a way better, more in-depth from now on. It's just, my job is killing me, and they're killing me and stressing me out, and I can't take it anymore, and it's just been a rough couple weeks, so I just was like, I'll talk about Moon Knight, I love it, but yeah, I'm sorry that I haven't been up to date on my posting, and I'm sorry that I have been slacking, but welcome to new subscribers. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Remember to share, comment, like, subscribe, it all helps out a lot. Let me know if you think Apocalypse is coming. Let me know if you think Jon Snow is coming. Let me know if you think, what was the other thing I said? HELA. Let me know if you think HELA is coming, but yeah, Moon Knight, it's great. Oh my god. The connections to Sailor Moon are crazy, and not just the Moonlight Knight. I mean, It's crazy. And Sailor Moon is the best. Hey guys, Editing Abby here. One, I know they're crocodiles, not alligators. I kept saying alligators. I respect them both, but it's crocodiles. I'm a moron. And there was something else that I totally forgot to say. Oh, I know we all want Gore the God Butcherer, and I know we're all pretty sure that he's coming, but this is also a great way to introduce Gore the God Butcherer. Just saying.